Hey, it's your buddy Peace and Harmony with you here today. Zooming in on the concept of the narcissist and their control tactics, their manipulation schemes that they utilize essentially for one key point, and that is to silence and really keep subservient the people in their life who they are targeting as supply, as a target, essentially for them as a scapegoat, or really, the supply source in their life. Now, as we look at the narcissist personality disorder, the person who is extremely self-absorbed and is lacking empathy will utilize what psychologists call sources of supply, people in their life who essentially they utilize to take advantage of to help promote them to get to and further their goal. So they utilize people as supply, just so that we're all on the same term here, to basically launch them into the furthering of their goals and objectives, whatever that might be. It might be visibility. The narcissist might just want visibility. They might want promotion. They might want power. They might want control. They might want relationships. They might want business associates. They might want sexual relationships. They might want attention. They might want really support. I mean, it all, in all the different myriad ways that it manifests and it plays out. The narcissist is looking for a certain type of relationship, one where they are above and their supply is below. And this is done in a very calculating manner. So oftentimes the people, once they enter into relationships with this narcissist, it's completely unaware to them that this sort of conditioning is taking place. So they don't realize that, they are taking essentially a backseat to this person. They don't realize that they're being abused. They don't realize that they're being taken advantage of. They don't realize that they're being brainwashed or gaslighted until really some, event occurs, either where the narcissist is exposed or the pain is so great. The person has suffered in this relationship for years and is not able to really put a finger on what is missing or what is experienced in the relationship. They just know that something is wrong. And oftentimes this comes with a feeling of being silenced. So being silenced means when one is really not able to fully be comfortable with this person on a consistent basis expressing themselves. Verbally, emotionally, physically, it becomes very uncomfortable. And often that silence is occurred when their needs, their voice, their interests, all are essentially shamed or minimized or ridiculed or really devalued and made really ineffective. In other words, a need is essentially shrugged off. It is refuted. It is denied. It is ignored. The needs, and these can be basic developmental needs, either in the child or in the spouse relationship, the love relationship, or even in the business associate relationship, where fundamental human interaction, just there's specific omissions that the narcissist will make to create a gap between themselves, which is the narcissist, which is going to be up here, superior, and their needs are going to become dominant, while all their supply is essentially treated in subservient or lesser. And they do this in a number of different ways. And this essentially serves to silence the victim. So it can be in terms of the physical body language. The narcissist will not give you respect. They will not give you something basic as eye contact. They will not give you something basic as a handshake or a hug. They will not give you as basic as attention. In other words, being able to sit and focus across the table from you. They will turn their body around when talking to you. They are constantly multitasking. And this sends a very clear message that you are not worthy, you are not worth time, you are not worth attention. And though this message, though it might not be readily apparent to people, but this is essentially the message that the narcissist is physically sending out there and sending off to their sources of supply and their target. And this can be extremely painful. I've had clients who have told me, you know, that their narcissist was not there for them when they were sick, or when they were sick, you know, they begrudged taking them to doctor's appointments, and when they were there, they were completely unattentive, you know, reading magazines, reading books, not really there for them, essentially abandoning them while being there physically. So this really serves, this hurt then becomes at a core basis for the supply, where they eventually end up shutting down because of this sort of emotional wound. So they will do this in physical ways. They will silence people also by verbal, outward verbal communication. Oh really? I mean, just really basically shooting down. They will utilize 1 to 2 word statements to shut down one's opinion from being expressed, so that the target will generally not be able to communicate their line of thinking whatsoever. They will not be able to discuss or formulate an opinion verbally with them. They will not be able to express a viewpoint, which can be, very valid, that they have maybe experienced with their own 2 eyes, that they have actually experienced. And the narcissist will essentially not give them the opportunity to express themselves. So the target then, the supply source then experiences an extreme form of being shut out. And with this becomes essentially a psychological and spiritual wound, where they feel like they cannot really elaborate or speak, which really starts to cause a huge detriment in the communication ability, the language ability of the target or the supply, because they're so shut down from being able to express themselves that they, start to essentially lose a sense of identity. They start to lose their vocabulary. They're not able to articulate. They're not able to, express, and so they're not able to be heard. So this creates a silence, a repression, a pushing down, a suppression. So essentially this creates, again, what psychologists deem as depersonalization, where eventually they become so dehumanized, they're not looked at, they're not talked to, they're shut down, and this creates a real form of silencing. So it's an active abandonment that really occurs with the narcissist and their supply in their life. So this can be very disheartening, very disempowering, and very confusing situation that these people, as we're calling, this is a source of supply. This is a common terminology, but we're talking about people here. So it's not like, your identity is supply. We're utilizing these terms to understand the dynamics as they work, in this, because you really need to understand the mechanisms and processes of this, and so that you can then come out from underneath it. And we're going to be going a little bit more into this and how to actually handle that, but realize that that is a tactic and a tool. So if you have experienced this, this will help you put the pieces together in identifying, indeed, if you are essentially a victim of narcissistic abuse, or if you are, in essence, in a narcissist relationship. Peace and harmony with you here today. I hope these videos help. Please share and please subscribe for more great tools, videos, discussions, and support.